Students, counselors, families, good morning or good afternoon or good evening, wherever it is you are joining us. Thank you so much for joining StriveScan and Cachet's virtual college exploration program. A few housekeeping items before we begin with today's session. First and foremost, you are encouraged to ask questions during today's session via the Q&A button that you see on the bottom of your screen. When you submit a question, it gets sent to our panelists and they will work to answer the question during the session and at the conclusion of the session. So please go ahead and type those questions as you would like. As a reminder, your camera and your microphone are turned off so the panelists cannot see or hear you. So that means if you do have questions, you'll need to type them in. This is one of 50 different panel presentations and individual information sessions that are STEM focused that are running through Thursday evening. So we encourage you to check out the full schedule at strivescan.com/virtual/STEM. We are also featuring the colleges that change lives, 41 private liberal arts colleges, and that starts on Saturday morning, and that can be found at strivescan.com/virtual/CTCL. When you signed up for this virtual event, you received a barcode. You do not need your barcode. And we are recording this session and all of the sessions, and the recordings will be made available shortly later today at strivescan.com/virtual/STEM, the same place you registered for today's session. And with that, I'm going to hand it over to Susie.
Thanks, Zach. My name's Susan Hanks. I'm the Senior Associate Dean of Admissions at Union College. And Union College is a small liberal arts college in upstate New York that has the distinction of offering extensive STEM programs. So I'm going to share my screen and then we'll get on with the presentation. Sorry about that. We'll try this again. So at Union, as I said, we are the small liberal arts college. Schenectady, New York is a small city of about 60,000 people. We have a campus of about 140 acres, and we're just a 10-minute walk into downtown Schenectady. At Union, when you're applying to the college. You are not applying into a specific academic program, which allows students to really explore many different academic areas of interest that they have. We have about 50% of our students who will be majoring in a STEM field, a math, science, or engineering. We have about 50% of our students who might be majoring in the humanities and social sciences. But what I think is extremely special about Union is that 80% of our students are going to be pursuing more than one academic discipline. So this is a school where you could double major, you could major and minor, you could select one of our interdisciplinary programs such as neuroscience or biomedical engineering or environmental science, policy, and engineering. So there's a broad range of academic programs. We are based in the liberal arts, so we want all students to have that breadth of a liberal arts program, including courses in the humanities, in the social sciences, quantitative courses, and courses in the sciences. When you are applying to Union, as I said, you're applying to the college. Most students at Union have until the end of their sophomore year to declare their major. Engineering students do need to declare their major a little earlier, and they have to declare at the end of the first year. But everyone has that time to explore. We pride ourselves on the fact that we make connections within the community. Our classes are small from the start. Introductory classes at Union will average about 21 students, and upper level classes average 14 students. As you can imagine with that, students need to be engaged in the classroom environment. Professors are going to know you very quickly in your class. They are going to want to learn your perspective, want to hear your opinions on what you have read or what you're studying at that particular time, and really be wanting that interactive academic program. Our professors love to teach at Union and have selected to teach at Union because they know they are going to have those deep connections between themselves and their students. Our professors are teaching all of the classes. We are just an undergraduate college, so we do not have any graduate students at Union. So all of your lectures, labs, recitations are all taught by the professors. So connections are made in a number of different settings with these professors. It is also important to note that besides teaching, our professors are all doing research. And these research opportunities are taking place across academic disciplines. So our engineering professors, our professors in the sciences, social sciences, performing arts, they are all doing research, and they are going to engage the students in these research opportunities. That is probably one of the real differences between Union and maybe some larger STEM related schools. Our professors are engaging with the undergraduates throughout their experiences and are incorporating the undergraduates in their research projects. Students as early as the end of their first year might be staying on campus during the summer to be paid in a stipend to do research with a professor or maybe work on their own research project. By the time students are seniors, probably 75% of our students have done undergraduate research. These research projects are deep and meaningful. You have autonomy in your research projects. If you have an idea, if you have a passion and that you want to study, you will be able to find a professor who will mentor you through that project. A perfect example of that is a few years ago, we had a young man, he was a mechanical engineer. He was also a volunteer firefighter and had a passion for that. And in his senior project, what he did was he worked with professors in the aerogels lab. He worked with his mechanical engineering professors, and he actually worked with professors within our theater department in the costume shop to design a firefighter coat that used aerogels to make it more flame resistant. And he did an analysis of that and realized that that would provide firefighters with the precious few seconds that they needed to get out of a burning building. So this is something that he was able to pursue, not something that one of our professors was studying, but something that he brought to a professor's attention because he had that passion. We have students in electrical and computer engineering who are working to design wheelchairs for young children with disabilities. We have students who are working to look at non-invasive ways to break down brain tumors. These are students who have this passion, who have created this interest, and who are able to pursue that. So these immersive experiences in research really take hold for many, many students at Union. The other thing that a great number of our students do is participate in study abroad programs. And I really want to emphasize that about 60% of our students do study abroad at some point. At Union, we feel it's important for students to have an appreciation of other cultures and to understand different perspectives. It is also important to note that 60% of our engineering students are studying abroad, and that compares to only about 15% of engineering students nationwide who have that option. Part of the reason that so many students are able to study abroad is we are on a trimester calendar. So we have 3 10-week terms during the academic year, fall, winter, and spring. And so students are able to find that term that they can take abroad and not be thrown off any sort of curricular pattern that they have to follow. So for instance, organic chemistry, a program that many of our STEM students have to take, is a 2-sequence course. Well, students could take it in the fall and the winter, they could take it in the fall and the spring, or they could take it in the winter and the spring. This allows for them to be able to find that term that they will be able to study abroad. We also have something at Union called mini terms abroad. And this picture in the bottom right-hand corner of these young women in India happens in a mini term. And so because of our academic calendar, our students have the month of December off from class. And we offer mini-term programs, which are 3-week programs, and they go to a variety of different countries. And it allows students to have that introduction into a study abroad program. So this program in India, we have programs to South Africa, we have programs to London and Paris and Bali to learn about the music and dance of Bali. So lots of variety, and as I said, many students take advantage of that. The third immersive experience that many of our students take advantage of are internships and co-op opportunities. So at Union, we have a very strong Becker Career Center. It is a welcoming office. They start working with undergraduate students as early as the winter of their first year. They provide all sorts of resources, from resume writing workshops to learning how to write a strong cover letter to practicing your interviewing skills. They also list internship opportunities available to union students. And they really encourage students to realize how beneficial it is for you to have these experiences outside of the classroom that will help to complement what you're doing in the classroom. We have a very strong alumni base at Union, something that we cherish because we have a database of about 14,000 Union alumni and friends of Union College who are willing to talk with students about their career paths. It is an opportunity for students to find that person who has majored in something that they are majoring in or have an interest in, and learn about what fields they are in right now. It is an opportunity for students to network with union alums, and that often leads to these internship opportunities or perhaps a permanent job opportunity. The internships typically happen during the summer, but there are some students who take advantage of these internships during the month of December when our classes are not in session. And some students can arrange, if it's a local internship, to do this internship as the year goes by. Because of our trimester calendar, students are typically just taking 3 classes per term. Our engineering students will take 4 classes 1 term per year. But that really allows students to have a lot of time outside of the classroom to take advantage of these outside opportunities. Back to the Becker Career Center, we're proud that 98% of our students within 6 months of graduation have a plan for the coming year. We have roughly 70% of our students who are heading directly into the job market with companies as big as General Dynamics and General Electric and Stanley Black & Decker to smaller firms across the country and the world. We have students who are applying and being accepted at many graduate programs. So roughly 20% of our students are going directly into graduate programs. And the remaining percentage are doing some pretty fantastic things. Students who are doing Watson Fellowships or earning Fulbright scholarships, or doing a Teach for America program, or maybe serving their military program if they have been in one of the ROTC programs at Union. But Union is preparing students for, as we say, multiple tomorrows, because there are many jobs that will open up in the coming decade or coming decades that haven't even been developed right now. Our Vice President of Admissions talks about a classmate of his from the early 90s at Union who was an English major, but now is working for Uber. Uber didn't exist when he was at Union, but he was able to kind of develop himself in order to be open to new industries and things like that. So we are really preparing our students well. We just opened a $100 million integrated science and engineering complex. It fully opened just this past January. The lab space and the instrumentation within that building are fantastic, rival some much larger institutions. But at Union, what really is important is the fact that all of the instrumentation, all of the equipment that Union has is available to the undergraduate student. So I know one of our chemistry professors, for instance, talks about some of the equipment that her first year's Union students are working on, indicating that she didn't touch that machine until she was in a PhD program. The reason for that is we don't have those graduate students. We don't have those tech help in our labs. And so the students are being introduced to these instruments from the start. This really benefits the students as they are then applying for jobs or applying for graduate schools, because they have been exposed to a number of these instruments and equipment. The other exciting thing at Union, based in the STEM fields recently, was in February, we announced the largest gift ever given to Union of $51 million to establish the Templeton Institute for Engineering and Computer Science. This was given by the Templetons. He is the CEO of Texas Instruments, a Union alum. His wife is also a Union alumna who majored in computer science. So you can understand where their passion is. So we're excited to be able to implement much of what that gift was intended for, to enhance the engineering, the computer science, the integration of the STEM fields into the liberal arts at Union. So it's a very exciting time at Union to be studying in the STEM field. I think what's also important at Union is we are a small school, and so there is a great sense of community at Union. We have about 130 clubs and organizations. These organizations stem everything from performing arts, in the theater, in music, in dance. We have student government, we have the yearbook, we have the newspaper, we have one of the oldest radio stations of any college in the country. We offer varsity sports, Division I in men's and women's ice hockey, and Division III in all of our other athletics, as well as club sports and intramural sports. We offer a whole host of community service opportunities, both in the local area as well as nationally and globally. We offer a unique program called the Minerva House system, which is a system of 7 houses, and it allows for the inclusion of all students to be involved with a Minerva House. As an incoming first-year student, you'll be assigned to a Minerva House. It is an eclectic group of students in each Minerva, and the goal of the Minerva House was to combine the social, cultural, and academic programs at Union, and it has really added to the breadth of what's going on each day or each week during the academic term. What I love about the Minerva Houses is that faculty and staff also belong to Minerva Houses. So when I talk about that sense of community, that interaction and the connection between students and faculty and staff, the Minerva Houses have really contributed to that. The other thing that Minerva Houses and all the clubs and organizations provide students is with leadership opportunities. To me, having a leadership opportunity in a club or an organization on campus provides you with development of those life skills, how to run a meeting, how to interact with other people on campus, how to organize an event for a large group of people. These are all possibilities through the Minerva House Councils. The other thing with the Minerva Houses is that it just provides first-year students with a way to connect with other students that you might not necessarily cross paths with in your daily time. You know, if you are in an engineering program and you are taking math and science classes in the first term and haven't had an opportunity to maybe take a humanities class or a social science class, maybe in your Minerva House you'll be introduced to an upperclassman who's majoring in political science or in history, and so you make those connections. It is also a great way to learn about other clubs and organizations that you might not have thought about joining before, but you might, through your Minerva House, make that connection between another member of your Minerva House and a club that you might be interested in joining. And the last thing about Minerva Houses that I really love is the fact that even though you belong to one Minerva House, you have the opportunity to attend the functions of any of the Minerva Houses. So it's not an exclusive program, it's a very inclusive program. 92% of our students stay in college housing all 4 years. So hopefully that gives you a sense of the connection students are making with the campus community. They want to be involved. They like to be involved. They like to support their friends in the activities that they're involved with, and in turn have their friends come support them, whether it be on the field or on the stage. So that inclusion is a very big piece of what Union is. I mentioned a little about multiple tomorrows, and we really feel, as I said, that we are providing great background for students as they are leaving Union. I just want to take a couple minutes to talk a little about the admissions process and financial aid, and then certainly we'll be happy to answer questions. In admissions, when you're applying to Union, you're applying to the college. You are not applying into a specific academic program unless you are applying into our accelerated medical program, which is an 8-year program with Albany Medical College, or our accelerated law program, which is with Albany Law School. All other students are applying to Union College. So while we ask you what you are interested in studying on your application, in effect, you can come in and make a change before you declare your major. We are a test optional school, and I know that there has been a lot of anxiety this year as SATs and ACTs have been canceled or room in testing sites have been limited. We have been a test optional school for decades. And so we are certainly one school that appreciates that testing is not everything in the admissions process. We're going to look at your high school record, the types of courses you're taking, how you're doing in those courses, and how the activities and things like that you are involved with will contribute to our community. If you want to be a test optional applicant, all you simply do is on the common application or the coalition application, check that box that says I do not want my testing considered. We also love to get to know our applicants. So we are offering obviously many virtual experiences now, from virtual information sessions to virtual guided tours to virtual interviews. We will be offering interviews until the end of January. And for those of you who are rising seniors, I would really encourage you to sign up for one of the interviews. Allow us to have a chance to sit one-on-one and talk to you and learn a little about which classes you enjoy the most or which activities that you are most involved with. We have 3 application plans. So I'll just briefly mention those. We do offer early decision, which is a binding program. But if you know that Union is the place you want to be, it is a fantastic plan. And within a month of your application, either in November or in January, you will hear a decision from us. We also offer early action, which allows you to apply by November 1st. You will hear by the end of December, but you don't have to make a decision on whether you'll be enrolling at Union until May 1st of your senior year. And then we, of course, offer a regular decision plan. All of those things can be viewed on our website. The other thing that we're very proud of at Union is that we meet 100% of the demonstrated financial need of students who are admitted to Union. So students will typically get a combination of grant money, loan, and work study in order to meet that 100% need. We use the CSS profile and the FAFSA to determine that. We also offer merit scholarships, and those are open to all applicants. So as we are reviewing your application, we will make decisions as to who will be receiving one of our merit awards. This year, roughly 15% of our incoming first year class had merit awards. These merit awards for next year will be $15,000, $20,000, or $25,000, and those will be good each of the 4 years. So once you have that each of the 4 years. A fantastic thing if you can get one of those as you're an incoming first year student. The other thing that Union started just this past year was something called the Making You Possible grant. And this was really geared to students from middle income families. So this is typically families that earn between $100,000 and $250,000. So who might just miss out on qualifying for need-based financial aid, but certainly could use some. And these are grants that will be awarded through the financial aid office. So if you are admitted to Union, we really want to make it possible for you to enroll at Union. So that's where I'm going to end my comments, and I will stop my screen share and hope that there might be some questions that I can answer for you. I have a colleague of mine who is nicely working through questions. So one of the questions that has come up is about the Common Curriculum, which is an important piece of Union simply because of our liberal arts base. So as a student, whether you are studying in a STEM field or studying any other academic program at Union, you will have a Common Core curriculum to complete. This will include a couple courses in the humanities, a couple courses in the social sciences, at least a course or two in the quantitative area, a couple courses in the sciences, one being a lab science. We have a culture requirement, so students can fulfill that in a number of different ways by either studying a language at Union, taking culture classes at Union, or by taking advantage of one of the numerous study abroad programs that I mentioned. What I think is really important is that students realize there are a number of courses that fulfill these requirements. So if you are a student who wants to avoid a specific type of class, you will find other classes that will fulfill those requirements without an issue. The other requirement that we have of our students is that all students have to take a couple writing across curriculum classes. And this is because we want students to develop very solid communication skills while they're at Union. Whether you are an engineer, a biochemist, a history major, or a philosophy major, it is important to know how to write well, know how to make presentations, know how to comport yourself. And so this writing across curriculum courses, again, are offered in every academic department. So when you're writing a very long chemistry lab report, that lab report will probably count as a writing intensive class because that is writing intensive. So this Common Core curriculum just allows students to really take advantage of the liberal arts program at Union and make sure that they are getting that breadth. Schenectady, as I mentioned, another question about the area. So Schenectady is a small city, about 60,000 people. We are in upstate New York, so we are about 3 hours north of New York City, about 3 hours west of Boston, and about 3 hours south of Montreal, Canada. Schenectady itself is a thriving community within a 10-minute walk of campus. You can get to downtown Schenectady and take advantage of numerous restaurants. Proctor's Theater, which is downtown, is a renovated vaudeville theater, and that allows students to take advantage of going to see traveling Broadway shows or comedians who come in, or movies in downtown, either at Proctor's Theater or the Bowtie Cinema. I know one of the Minerva events that was organized last winter was a group of about 100 students from different Minerva Houses and faculty went to see Frozen at Proctor's, the traveling Broadway show. Also within Schenectady, we have lots of opportunities for students to get involved with community service. We have everything from students helping middle school students with homework on a weekly basis, to programs like Best Buddies, to students working on Habitat for Humanity program. The Greater Capital District is an area of about 1 million people. And this allows students to also take advantage of what is going on in the state capital, what is going on near the Adirondacks or the Catskill Mountains, which are about an hour from us. So if you're someone who likes to ski or likes the outdoors and want to go hiking or kayaking, we're also in a great position to provide you with that small city, but also allow you to get to wilderness or nature very, very easily, which is also important. So there's a question about the Minerva Houses and how they work. So as an incoming first-year student, you will be assigned to one of the 7 Minerva Houses. It is a relatively random assignment. What they try to do is they try to match students who are living in the same residence hall with students who are maybe taking some of the same classes to also be in the same Minerva House. And what this allows students to do initially is to have that small cohort of other students who they see in a number of different settings, and it encourages them to kind of make those connections, which is good. The houses, as I said, are run by a house council. So as early as your first year, you can get a position on that house council and start planning what sorts of programs and events your Minerva will be sponsoring. Each of the houses also has a faculty member who sits on the house council, and the houses all have a budget of over $20,000 to help present programs for the campus community. I want to emphasize that though you are a member of one of the Minerva Houses, you are able to attend the programs of any of the Minerva Houses, which I think are really important. I'm just seeing if there are any other questions. So I guess what I want to do is I just want to emphasize that this might sound corny, but while we are small, we are powerful within the STEM fields. As I said, the autonomous nature of the research that the students are doing, the mentorship that the students receive from faculty members are just so meaningful. When you talk to faculty, you know, they talk about the alumni who they are still in contact with 10, 15, 20 years away. I was on campus just yesterday, and a Union alum was visiting with his daughter who is looking at Union. And while she was taking the information session and tour, he went and saw his faculty advisor from Union of 20 years ago. That was the person that he kept in touch with. He goes to Yankees Twins games with this professor every year. And so it was just a great understanding of how deep those connections are and how much they mean to the students. I also just want to emphasize that the facilities at Union are fantastic. I've been at Union just starting my 12th year, and every year I have been at Union, we have done a major renovation of a building or have built a new building. And this includes renovation of humanities and social science buildings, a complete gut of the visual arts building, a new dance studio, a renovation of the theater. As I mentioned, the new integrated science and engineering complex, or the ISEC building. We have built the Wold Center, which is a home to many of the interdisciplinary programs from biochemistry and the aerogels lab to crochet, which is our robotics lab. So the facilities are used by the students and certainly very high quality for the use of all the students. So I do hope that all of you might be able to come visit Union. Right now we are welcoming visitors until the end of the summer, until our students arrive back on campus. And throughout the fall, we will be welcoming visitors on Saturdays. So if you are within driving distance distance, I really would encourage that. If you can't make it to campus, I certainly would encourage you to take advantage of one of our virtual programs. As I said, we have guided virtual tours, so you'll have that interaction with a student. If you would like to speak with a student about their experiences at Union, the balance that they find between the STEM fields and those other things going on at Union, please email us. What I will do is let me just put my email address in my, sorry, I need to, there you go. That is my email address, hanks@union.edu. And I would be happy to answer any questions, but certainly put you in touch with a faculty member or a student who would be happy to answer your questions. So thanks again for joining us. I think that we have lots to offer students from a number of different areas of study, and I hope you continue to look at Union and investigate all that we have going on. So I appreciate you joining today.
Well, thank you so much for sharing all this information, and students and counselors, thank you so much for joining this session. As you close this window, a very quick 4-question survey will appear, and we do ask for your feedback. We encourage you to sign up for more of these STEM sessions through Thursday evening at strivescan.com/virtual/STEM. And again, check out the recordings that are at that exact same website. Thanks everyone, have a great day.